Wassup YouTube, PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you our team builder for week 7 of the PFCFL Season 2. We, the Hazleton Hoopas, are sitting here at a not so terrible 4-2 record with a +9 differential, and that's actually really good. It's really good, and it's not where I would have liked to be. I would have liked to have won last week, and I kind of, looking at the situation, I saw what I did wrong, and the issue with the damage calcs was what pretty much made me play the way I did. So I can't say I played incorrectly. Off of the assumption that I had, I played perfectly to set myself up for a potential victory, and it just didn't pan out that way. So that was my own fault and an own undoing. I pretty much screwed myself there. It's about all I can say about it, honestly. There's not much else to go about it. If I had paid attention and noticed my calcs were set up the way they were, which from now on I probably will be using the showdown damage calculator, to be honest, just because I don't want to have that instance again where I'm rushing to get everything set up and the damage calculator defaults itself to doubles, while the showdown one, I'm 99% positive, defaults to singles. So I'm just going to go ahead and not use the doubles one again, or the Nugget Bridge one again. I don't know, we'll see. I'll just have to make sure to make a note to turn off the doubles on it so that I can actually get accurate damage calcs. Because basically, we talked about it afterwards. If I had been under the assumption that Alakazam was sashed, which it was, I would have, instead of allowing his Crobat to kill my Dusknoir, like I did, I would have gone out into Spiritomb and attempted to sack that off. And in doing so, that would have allowed me the free switch into Hydreigon. I would have taken the Brave Bird if it was still alive from the recoil, because it could have potentially actually gone down to the recoil at that point. Well, actually, probably wouldn't have, because of we did Shadow Sneak it with Dusknoir, but that's not the point. But we could have potentially beaten it if we had saved Dusknoir, and then once Hydreigon went down, we could have just brought Dusknoir in and Shadow Sneaked and won. But, you know, hindsight's 2020. We won't make the same mistakes next time we face Corey later this season. I believe we face him week 11? I want to say no, it's not week 11. It's like week 13 or 14. Maybe even later. I don't know. There's too many weeks in this season. I'm losing track of everything. But that was last week. And then, you know what? We need to win this week to come back from that loss, and this week we are taking on Ellis, who is a new coach, and the Toronto Gyarados, and he has actually a very interesting team, and there's an interesting story behind it as well. His team is Venusaur, Gyarados, Diancie, Empoleon, Mega Blastoise, Moltres, Druddigon, Dugtrio, Sneasel, Buffalant, Leafeon, and Hariyama. Now that team might not sound all that great, but it really, in my personal opinion, it's not. He has in my personal opinion, he has probably, if not the worst, the second worst draft in the entire league. And the thing about him is he's a very, very prideful, very cool guy who's definitely down for a challenge. And from the beginning of the season, he said he was just going to try to make this team work. And he hasn't been successful thus far. His only win came via forfeit, I believe it was due to either lack of time or an invalid lineup, something like that. We've had a couple of those this season, but his only win came via forfeit, pretty sure. So that's a thing. But yeah. That's not the point. He decided he was just going to try to stick it out with this team and see how it works and try to make it work. It hasn't been working so far, but you never know. He's still a very good battler. He knows how to play the game very, very well. So we're going to have to be extra, extra careful in order to come up with a win against him. But I do want to try to come up with a very dominant win so that we can kind of make it seem like last week didn't even happen. And that's kind of the goal. I want to get my differential up. Last time I felt like this good and in this much in the mood for a really decisive victory. We 6-0'd Chris and the Detroit Pidgeots. So I feel like if we can pull off another 6-0, that'd be kind of cool. And hopefully with this squad, we can definitely do that. So without further ado, first things first, we're going to explain a few things. There is a mod on this team that is a free agent that I have yet to record the video for. So you probably will see this video soon, if you haven't already seen it. I just haven't recorded the video yet. I'm recording this pretty early. I actually had the battle. This is actually like later in the night after the battle that I had with Corey. But since Ellis decided he's not going to change his team at all, I've decided I was going to do my prep early because I am going to be packing tomorrow to head back home, and I'm going to be busy with family stuff, throughout part of the week. So I decided now was as good a time as any to get my prep done. And yeah, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get into this shit. The first mon that we are bringing against Ellis' squad is going to be Chun-Li, our Mega Lopunny. And basically, Mega Lopunny's job this week is to come in later game and sweep, potentially. We're rocking 4 in HP and defense, because why not? 108 into special defense, just for an extra cushion against DNC's Moonblast, because we are going to have to take at least one when it comes down to it. But, it's kind of good to be able to take at least one of those. Plus, he has a bunch of especially offensive threats, so being able to sponge those hits a little better, not necessarily sponging them, but being able to take those hits a little better is definitely nice. We have 140 in speed with a Jolly Nature. With that 140 in speed, we outspeed his entire roster. His fastest mon is Dugtrio, which maxes out at 189, so sitting at 190, we outspeed the whole roster that's not scarfed by 1 point. And then we have max attack, so we can hit as hard as possible. Moveset: Power Up Punch, High Jump Kick, Thunder Punch, and Ice Punch. Just straight 50% of this is coverage. Ice Punch and Thunder Punch hit a lot of his team really get hard. Thunder Punch, even after an Intimidate, does still OHKO the Gyarados, which isn't exactly surprising because it's a Gyarados, but regardless, Power Up Punch is here because I want to try to get a situation where he has no switch-ins to this thing. And he has to, if he brings his Sneasel, he has to sack it. Power Up Punch guarantees that 100% guaranteed OHKOs a Sneasel. Even Eviolite Sneasel dies to a Power Up Punch. If he even brings Sneasel. I don't think he'll bring Sneasel, but this is just scenario based. Power Punch kills it, we get +1, and we pretty much one-shot or two-shot the remainder of his team. And that's pretty sweet. Why do you... Showdown. What the fuck? Thank you, Showdown, for being absolutely asinine right now in the middle of my recording. Thank you. Anyway, Power Punch gets us to +1 and allows us to pretty much one-shot or two-shot the remainder of his team. And that's pretty nice to be able to do because he has some decent bulk in, Diancie, Venusaur, Empoleon, Mega Blastoise. A lot of these mons are very, very bulky, and being able to one or two shot these mons is really, really important. High Jump Kick is also there because it allows us to nuke a lot of his team. If it doesn't resist it, which actually he has nothing on his team that resists the High Jump Kick besides Moltres. And we have Thunder Punch for that, so it's not a big deal. But High Jump Kick does obscene amounts of damage to almost everything on his team. This is the move that allows us to two-shot the Diancie. And even if he decides to switch the Diancie in on a power-up punch, it's not living a High Jump Kick afterwards. So there's a lot of options here, but basically Chun-Li just come in, click power-up punch, get the +1, and kill his whole team. That's pretty much the goal. Next mon is going to be King Ghidorah, the Hydreigon, and we get to actually have a little bit of fun this week. We get to run Choice Specs for once, instead of Choice Scarf. Basically, we had no way of outspeeding. The two mons that we could have outsped with a Choice Scarf would have been Dugtrio and Sneasel. Sneasel still has access to Ice Shard, which is still going to hit us, and that's probably going to be the only move it goes for because he's going to protect Scarfed. And Dugtrio can't really do anything to Hydreigon, so I'm not too worried about that. So what we got here, we got 12 HP, 4 in defense and special defense, just because they kind of were filler EVs that I just kind of needed to spread somewhere. We got 252 special attack, hit as hard as possible. We got 236 speed. That speed allows us to outspeed the Leafeon by 1 point, and that's his fastest mon that we need to outspeed. So that then allows us to pretty much come in and play the prediction game a little bit, but basically nuke just about anything. If we're feeling like we're in a safe situation, if the Diancie's already dead, we come in and we click Draco Meteor, and anything that comes in gets basically nuked. Focus Blast is there if we feel like we're in a situation where his Empoleon might want to switch in, or his Sneasel wants to switch in, or Bouffalant wants to switch in. We click Focus Blast. Boom, they're nuked. They're gone. Flamethrower is there. Venusaur can't do all that much to us. It gets 2-shot by Flamethrower. Sneasel absolutely gets blown back. Leafeon gets 1-shot. Flash Cannon is there because Diancie is a switch into this thing. It's going to be predicting Dracos. Diancie's alive. We click Flash Cannon because Diancie would 9 out of 10 times come in on this, and unless it's max special defense, max HP, max special defense with like a special defense boosting nature, it has no chance in any universe of living this Flash Cannon. No chance. And that's really reassuring because we have a way of immediately nuking the biggest threat to Hydreigon on his entire team, outside of Hariyama. And Hariyama is still not taking a Draco Meteor all that nicely. So King Ghidorah is just going to be an absolute nuke. Its goal is to nuke, and that's pretty much what it's going to do, and I'm really happy about that. Next mon is going to be 666, our Shiny Spiritomb. It will always be shiny. I love Shiny Spiritomb more than anything in the universe. Holding the leftovers. Basically, the whole goal with Spiritomb this week was to be a special wall and to sit there and eat hits. I decided that this is the best set just due to he has a lot of physical mons. He does have a lot of more physical mons than does special mons, yeah. But the special mons are the ones I need to be able to eat the hits from. And Diancie can't one-shot us. I don't even think it can. I think it like barely can two-shot us with Moonblast, maybe. And like if it's taking prior damage, it's not going to take. We can actually handle it, but basically we decided this set works really nicely. Will-O-Wisp is there to burn all of his physical attacking threats that can come against us, so pretty much can wall them too, on top of being able to wall his special threats. Pain Split's there as our only form of recovery outside of the leftovers. If we can get a good prediction off or just time it right when we're trying to stall something out, we can get a good Pain Split off and get some HP back. Shockwave is there kind of for fun. I kind of want to mess around a little bit in this match because I feel like I can. Shockwave 2-shots his Gyarados, which is kind of funny. I really want to try and utilize that. If I can 2-shot a Gyarados with Shockwave, or if I can get prior damage on the thing and just kill it with Shockwave, oh my god, I'll die laughing. And the Hidden Power Steel. Now, I didn't get to implement this last season. I brought Hidden Power Steel on my Infernape, which was meant to two-shot his Diancie. My opponent, Martin, I believe it was, no, it was Alistair. Alistair had Diancie. It was meant to two-shot Alistair's Diancie last season. Didn't happen. I feel more confident this season that Ellis will be bringing his Diancie. And Hidden Power Steel, in this case, two-shots it. Especially if there's any form of prior damage to it, it definitely just two-shots it. It was like 51 to like 60-some%, which is insane and hilarious. And I want to hit a Hidden Power Steel on a Diancie more than anything in the universe. So Spiritom's kind of here. It's a very fun set, but also works very, very well at walling his team, which I felt was very, very necessary this week. The next mod is going to be our physical wall, and our newest member, Stego the Armaldo. I decided Stego would be a good nickname because he's got the spikes on his tail. You know, he's like a Stegosaurus. He's holding the leftovers with battle armor, so no critical hits are going to be fucking his day up. He's got Stealth Rock, Knockoff, Rock Slide, and Earthquake with 248 HP, 4 in attack and special defense, and a max defense with an impish nature. Basically, very, very simple, standard set. Rocks are there because he's got a Moltres, which takes 50% upon switching. He's also got a Gyarados that and a Sneasel that both take 25% from rocks, plus the 12% on switch into the rest of his team, pretty much, is really, really beautiful because it kind of just allows us to kill things like much easier. Like things just die, which is nice. Knockoff is there for utility purposes only. If Stego's out there and he's just chilling, I can just click Knockoff, get items off of things, and no crits are killing him, and there's not too many things that his team can do to kill me outright. So, basically, it's pretty much safe to just sit there and just do damage. Rock Slide's there just in case I get an opportunity to hit the Moltres, but it also allows me to hit the Gyarados, which is probably a mon that would probably come in on this thing. And the Sneasel will obviously get wiped out by a Rock Slide. Plus it stabs, so I need to have at least one stab move on this. And then I threw Earthquake on there because it's just a good move overall. It two-shots the Diancie. I'm pretty sure it two-shots the Diancie. I'm pretty sure, depending on its spread, it will probably two-shot the Diancie. I don't think it'll two-shot a physically defensive one, but I believe it could two-shot a specially defensive one. But that's not the point. It also does good damage to the Empoleon, which is nice. I'm actually really excited to have Armaldo on the team because it provides us with a potential spinner in the future, as well as having a different stealth rocker, so we don't have to just bring our the easily preparable for what's his name, Seismitoad. We don't have to always bring Seismitoad now, which is really nice for us because Seismitoad's way too predictable and can easily be shut down by any grass type of any kind whatsoever. Just kind of, you get a grass type in front of it, or a mon with a grass type move, Seismitoad just kind of has to run away. He does not handle those situations very nicely at all. So that's a thing. Yeah, so Stego's here. It's going to be our physical wall this week. It really works well against his team, and I'm looking forward to actually getting a chance to use Armaldo for once. I never used this thing. I've never used Armaldo competitively, so I'm really excited to see what this thing can do. The next mon, I finally came up with a nickname for it. Billy Hatcher, the Tornadus Therian, is here with the Assault Vest. Basically the best I could come up with for an item this week. Kind of sat there for a long-ass time, scratching my head as to who would be best in this match. And I saw Tornadus Therian, and I thought, you know, that's actually really perfect because it is naturally faster than Ellis's entire team. So all I had to do is just run max speed timid, and we're good to go. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Max speed, max special attack, 4 in HP. So I get a nice odd number. Just make sure everyone has odd numbers. Unnumbered HP, we're good. Anyway, we got Air Slash, Focus Blast, Grass Knot, and U-Turn. Air Slash, 2 shots of the Hariyama, and 2 shots of the Venusaur, and then I'm pretty sure it absolutely just O-Ko's the Leafeon, which is nice. I want to be able to kill that thing, and I needed something that can hit the Hariyama super effectively. This is my best bet, honestly. Focus Blast does good damage to the Bouffalont. It does decent damage to the Empoleon, and just nukes the Sneasel. Grass Knot is there because he's got some grass weaknesses. It doesn't do anything to Diancie, but it does do half to Mega Blastoise and does like 75% to Dugtrio, which is kind of funny because Dugtrio is so tiny, but whatever. Grass Knot just fucks shit up. I think it's just because it's frailest balls, but then we have U-Turn, so we can have some form of switch initiative type move on the team, so that we can keep some form of momentum going. I feel like it's not trying to keep that kind of momentum, that Volt Turn momentum going in this match isn't all that important. It's going to be more just breaking through the walls that he has and punching through his team quickly. I feel like it's going to be a very punch for punch, very quick battle, so I'm kind of looking forward to that aspect of it. We have then our last Mon being Ghostbuster, the Dusknoir. And for once, Dusknoir is actually going to be filling an offensive role this week, holding the Expert Belt with 248 HP, 252 attack with an adamant nature, 4 into each of his defenses, with straight coverage moves, Thunder Punch, Earthquake, Brick Break, and Ice Punch. Thunder Punch, even after an Intimidate from Gyarados, has a good chance to OHKO it. It also does really good damage to the Empoleon, and does good damage to the Mega Blastoise as well. Also has a kind of a decent chance of, it also definitely 2 shots the Moltres. Earthquake is there because of the Diancie. 3 shots to the Diancie, which is not great, but it still is good. Also hurts the Empoleon very nicely, which is another way of hurting the Empoleon. And a third way to hurt the Empoleon, we have Brick Break, which also just straight up nukes Sneasel, but also does good damage to Bouffalont and the, what's the fighting weakness again? Empoleon, yeah. And then Ice Punch is there for the Venusaur and the Leafeon and the Dugtrio and the Druddigon. So we have good coverage for a lot of his team. Dusknoir just kind of can sit out there in front of Ellis and just kind of fire off random moves and do pretty much damage to just about everything, which is kind of great. Because it's going to be nice to see Dusknoir in an offensive role instead of being a wall for once. Because, I mean, that's been kind of my goal all season. I wanted to try and find a situation where Dusknoir could shine offensively. I really wanted that to happen. And finally, we're getting that opportunity. So I'm looking forward to trying it out. And with that being said, this is our team for the Toronto Gyarados in Week 7 here. Looking to pick up a crazy big W. That's kind of the goal here. And hopefully you guys are going to be rooting for us all the way there. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, I'm PokePrimer, signing off.